Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. It's me Anil. We are back in the series of online food ordering website using ASP.NET C#. In previous video, that is part number 11b, we have seen how we can update the cart items as well as how we can delete it from the cart. Okay, so now in today's video, that is part number 12, we are going to see the payment page where user can pay the payment with two modes, that is the card payment and the other one is cash on delivery. Okay, so like for the design of the payment page, we're going to use your readymade template. Okay, but we're going to modify it accordingly, okay, as per our need. So like this will be the template or this readymade template for the payment we're going to use, and we're going to modify it accordingly, like as per our requirements. Like here we can see 3 tabs like is there, but we're going to use only 2. The first one is credit card and the second one is cash on delivery. Okay, so for credit card we're going to use the same as it is, but here like if you go on HTML, you can find here the HTML code. Okay, and if you go to your the CSS tab, you will get the CSS code, and in JavaScript you get the JavaScript code. Okay, but here it's a HTML code. So like with the controls that is here, you can see the input. Okay, the input control is used here for the text box and all, right? So we're gonna replace with our ASP.NET controls, and we're going to add here the important thing, that is validations. Like when the user click on the confirm payment, it should make sure all the fields were filled by the user. Okay, then will allow them to move further for the confirmation of the payment. Okay, so guys, let's stop this and proceed with our project. Okay, so first of all we need to create one page for the payment. Let's take the page name from our previous page, that is the cart page from where we were ended the last video section, that is payment. Here you can see, just copy it and create a new page inside this user folder, because it's in user module, right? So we need to create in user folder. Click on add. Okay, here we need to select web form with master page. I'm getting here. If you're not able to view get here, just go for new item and select here web form with master page. Let's give the page name here as payment. Click on add. Now we need to select the master page that is present in user folder, this one. Okay, so a page has been created here. Okay, so now I'm gonna paste the code of the design of this payment. Okay, I have modified little bit. Okay, but I'm not gonna like perform it and step by step I will show you. It's take a lot of time, just waste of time. Okay, so I will be providing the link of the original template, the original payment design template in description. Okay, as well as the design which I am going to use in this project for the payment. Okay, I will going to provide that design code in the description. You can download from there. Okay, but we're going to perform this one, the code behind page of this payment. We'll gonna type that, not all code, but we're gonna see all that. Okay, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna pasting the code. We'll add some code here inside this first content placeholder, content fun, that is here. The head section code will gonna come here, and the body section code will gonna add here in this second content too. Okay, So I'm just selecting this both and I'm pasting it here. First, like I will take here one space and gonna paste the code. Okay, so I have pasted the code here. So here, like in content fun, like here style code is there. Let's remove this one. So here some CSS code is there, like which is available on that the design template code. From there I have used this code and I have little bit some modified it also. Okay, not much, only little bit as per like what I need. Okay, and here in JavaScript like I use this one for displaying the message, which I have used in every pages, like okay, for displaying the message, for displaying alert message. Okay, and this JavaScript code was there already in that design, so I have used there. After that, okay, like I have used some code for like after the payment, when the user tried to get back to the previous page, it didn't allow to hit the back button. Okay, like it didn't allow to navigate to the back page, like it will gonna disable the this one forward history page. Okay, so it was gonna display that page to view. Okay, so for that, like this JavaScript function is like I've used. You can like search it from Google, you will get the code. Okay, that's present in the content 1. Okay, now in content 2, the design part is there. Okay, within the section code, like I've used here some, I think, background images. Yeah, like I've used here some background images. If you can also use your own, or like it's up to you. Like if you don't want, just leave it. Lot of good. Okay, it will look good. Okay, without even image or with image. Okay, then actually the code start from here. The 3 tab were there, right? So I've used this first and second and comment the third one. And like as I said, instead of the input control, I have replaced with the ASP.NET text box control, and I have here added the required field validator controls to the text box, as well as the regular expression validator. Okay, the same for the card number. That is, the first one is for card owner name, the second one is card number. Okay, and then the third one here you can see the expiration date, in which yeah, in that, like I have taken 2. The first one is for the month and the second one is for the year. Okay, 2 control I have taken here, text box. And then like CVV, that is the code present backside on the card. Okay, for that, like I have used here one text box, and the validation controls. For that, the same goes for the delivery address as well. Okay, and this one at delivery address, like I have used here text box with multi-line. Okay, and that is for taking the address which can be a large, right? Large text, so like required more space to type, so multi-line text box is like perfect for this one. Okay, and then the link button for confirm payment. Okay, after that, here on the second tab, like that is for this one cash on delivery. Here, like again I have asked here for delivery address, the same like a text box with the multi-line, but the text the ID is different, control ID is different. Okay, and here again link button for confirm order, means both the page will gonna have this separate confirm order button. Okay, in cash on delivery it's have own confirm order button, and in card payment it has own confirm button. Okay, and then here at the end I am going to display at the end I am going to display the total amount like the user need to pay, like it gonna display in both the tab, like for the first one, that is card payment, in that also at the bottom going to display the same work for the cash on delivery also. Okay, so this is the the script or the code I have pasted here. Okay, like we have two link button, that is for first one card payment, that's for the second one cash on delivery. So both for both link button we need to create its on click event. Okay, that's it. Now but like I have just copied this one, so I need to create it manually again. Where is the first one? It's here. Okay, so let's create its event. Press Control space bar. Okay, now you'll get this option, create new event, and it's gonna created. The event is created now. You can see if you go to the page here, you can see the code behind the event is created. Let's do same for the second one. Remove this event, Control space bar, this one first, press enter, the event is generated. Yeah, okay, so the design part is now completed. Okay, now let's back to this code behind page. Okay, so now like it's the payment page, means like when the user can see like after login, after the payment, like after like when the user need to buy the card items, at that time like this page, payment page gonna open, right? That means this page is like need to be authenticated, right? So for that, like we need to use a session in which in cart I think we have used that. Let's copy from there. Yeah, we have used here. Let's copy this code and paste it in payment page. Paste. We don't want this else part, just remove this. Okay, now what we want, when we click on the card submit button, okay, that is the first one, the card payment. When we click on that confirm button, this event, click event button, click event will call. So what we want the text box value that we have used in that form design, like the card owner name, delivery address, expiry date of the card, CVV number, right? So all that fields like we need to then the card number as well. Okay, so we need to fetch that all the records and we need to pass it through stored procedure and save it in database, right? So here first of all we need to declare some variables before the page load event. Let's do it. First take our SQL connection, SQL connection class, press Control dot, enter, con SQL command cmd SQL data reader dr1 dr comma dr1. We're gonna use this twice, so like we need to declare here two object. Okay, data table, dt. Here the new thing like we want to use, that is SQL transaction. First of all, we need to set as null. Now we need to take our some variables that we are going to use. Okay, so finally we have declared all the variables that we want to use in this project, used in this page, not in the project, sorry. So what we are going to do here, let's assign the value coming from the controls to this variable that we have just declared right now. So for the name, let's take the first for the name, that is gonna come from txt name dot text dot trim. The second one, card number, press tab, it's gonna complete the whole code. Okay, enter. Okay, so we have taken the card number, but we want while storing the card numbers, we want to make visible the actual card number, only ending 4 digit, to get clearly visible. Understand, this number is something numbers. Okay, but the first 12 digits of the number of the card, we want to make it to asterisk star, we can say. Okay, in asterisk symbol we're gonna convert it. Okay, the first 12 digits of that card number, and the rest 4 digits that this last 4 digit will gonna remain, keep as it is. Okay, we're gonna keep that as it is. So let's see here how we can do code. So we're gonna make into asterisk, right? String dot format basically when we get value from the controls, by default it is in string, so we don't need to convert in string. Okay, so we can directly format into in string. Okay, so what format we want to use here? We want to use here in asterisk, right? So how many asterisk we need to replace the text here? So we need to take here 12 asterisk, as I said. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I have taken here 12 asterisk. After that, curly braces, within that 0, not O, it's a 0. Okay, after that comma, txt card number dot text dot trim dot substring. So in substring, it takes 2 parameters. Okay, the first one, from where it gonna start, comma, and how much length it gonna take. So let's take here 4 and semicolon. Okay, something is missing. Okay, I've taken here code, it's a card number. Fine. Okay, now what happens, the card number contains will contain 16 characters. Okay, it is in string. Okay, you can see here the data type is string, so it contains in string format. So it's contains 16 characters, like it's a number. Okay, so what we're gonna do, from first to 12 characters it gonna replace with this asterisk, and the remaining 4 characters it gonna replace, it's not gonna replace, it will keep as it is. Okay, it will gonna replace only first starting 12 characters with the asterisk. Got it? Okay, and then we're gonna store that value as it is in database. Okay, so the card number has been done, name, card number, then expiry date, okay. Now in expiry date, we're gonna take here the month and the year both, so we need to combine it into one. Okay, so let's see, txt month dot text dot frame, not some semicolon we need here. So let's take here plus, like we are gonna concatenate that. You can see here it auto suggests the code that is the year also. Let's press tab, it's gonna complete that code for us. Okay, but like I want to split that code like this one, the month and the year with the slash in between. Okay, so for that I have to take here another plus, and within that I have to take here double quotes, and here let's take here forward slash. Okay, save it. Now it will gonna save the data as the month slash the year. Okay, it will not save data in expiry date variable. Next, CVV. Then address, payment mode, by default we're gonna set here the card, because we are gonna, because this button event is for card payment, right? So that's why we'll keep here the payment mode as card. Okay, now what we want here, first of all, like when the user click on that button for the payment, first we'll need to check that whether the session is still present or not, means the user is still logged in or not. Okay, so first of all we'll take here the if condition, and within that we're gonna check the session of the user, copy, paste, is not equal to null. If it is not null, then we'll gonna call here one function which will perform the order payment. Okay, like whatever the payment, it's gonna save in database. Okay, so we'll gonna create one new method for that. In else part here, it's gonna display the message response dot redirect, or we can say response dot. Okay, if it is not logged in, of course we need to use redirect, like for redirecting the user to the login page. Sorry, okay, now like we're gonna create this function in a moment. The same things will gonna we can use for this cash on delivery as well. Okay, so in cash on delivery what we have here, the address and the card, the payment mode. Okay, we're gonna use the address, this one, copy, as well as this one. Okay, we need this as well. Let's copy this whole and paste it here. So in address here, but the we have, as I said, we have taken two controls for the address we use in the card payment and the address we use in cash on delivery both have the different ID. So we need to take the other one, txt COD address, that is cash on delivery COD. Okay, now the payment mode here is COD. Okay, now it's time to create a new function. Let's take here void the function type, like it's not gonna return any type of data, void order payment. Okay, so it's gonna take some parameters. We're going to pass all these fields value through parameters. Okay, so let's take one by one. So all will be in string, right? First of all, the name, card number, expiry date, CVV, address, payment mode. Okay, so we have taken here the parameters required for this function. Now let's take here some variable that we're gonna use here, that is payment ID semicolon product ID quantity DTU data table. Let's declare here data table object. Okay, we can say we have initialized our data table class. Okay, now in data table we're gonna add some columns. But not here add, we're gonna use here add range dot add range, because we're gonna add here multiples columns. So let's take here new keyword, so that in that we can use here data columns. Okay, we need here the semicolon. Now how many columns we will gonna add here? That is 7. Let's take 7 here. Now inside this we're gonna add one by one the column names. New data columns. Now here we need to take our column name. Order number, the type string. Okay, we need string. Let's copy this, paste. Okay, now let's rename the second column name product ID but for our product ID we need in integer. Now after that the third one quantity. again it's in integer. Fourth one, user ID, integer, status, then payment ID, integer, the last one, order date. So here we have to take here date and time. Okay, so we have added here some column names. I think 7 column names, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 column names we have added here. After that, let's take here our connection, SQL connection. Okay, we need to import the namespace for this control dot. We don't have this connection. Okay, let's go back to the card page. We have here connection. Let's copy this. Let's copy this code. Till here, copy and paste it here instead of this. Okay, now it's taken here this class connection. Maybe I think the spelling mistake. Okay, C in connection C is missing, which I have made mistake in that page name. Okay, so that's why like I have typed the correct connection word, it's not taking. Now like I have type the same, like copy and paste the same name, like which is incorrect. Okay, now it's like taken here. Okay, so like the spelling doesn't matter here. Okay, okay, so now we need to change here this store procedure name. We'll use here save payment. I don't think so we have created this store procedure, so we're gonna create in a moment after this creation of this function. Okay, so the first parameter like we'll take here, let's switch this like change the position of this last line to the this here type store store procedure. The first one, the action name, actually we don't want a action name in this say payment, because we're gonna use the only single action in this this store procedure. So we don't want the action name. We're gonna use directly the parameter name, that is name, the first one here, name, and the value comes from the name variable here. Sorry, name, copy Okay, so after name, card number, expiry date, CVV, address, payment mode. Don't want this, let's remove it. Okay, so here like we need to change the variable name, that is card number, expiry date, CVV, address, payment mode. Okay, so now the last parameters will take little bit different from what we usually take here. Okay, so here we're not gonna use add with value, we're gonna use only add. So here let's rename with inserted ID, and here we need to take here SQL DB type dot int. After that cmd dot parameters. In parameters we need to take here double quote. Let's copy this one, inserted ID, paste it here, dot direction is equals to parameter direction dot output. So here what is different here, like why we have taken here this two line, like you know the first this till here like it's common, like we are just passing here the parameters name. Okay, this time we didn't take here the action name, okay, because we're gonna use a separate store procedure for this. Okay, no action required for this store procedure. All the parameters like we have taken here till here. Okay, now we have taken here separate another parameters that is inserted ID, which is of type of SQL DB type integer. It is of type integer. Why we are mentioning here type data type here integer, because we are in store procedure we have taken parameter, that is output parameters. Usually we don't take the output, we haven't take any such store procedure which accept output parameters. Okay, so in this store procedure we're going to create a parameter, output parameter. So for that, like it gonna get a value return, like when we call that this store procedure, it gonna return some value which is of type in integer. So that is of type, here you can see parameter direction output, you want to give output in this variable. Okay, here so we can access that value. Okay, now when we call that, let's enclose within try catch block, cmd dot execute non-query, okay, and let's remove this and now we have here one variable payment ID that we're gonna use here for getting the value which is coming from the store procedure. Okay, so cmd dot parameters, the parameter name. Okay, so I have forgot here to use @ as well as here. Let's take it dot value. Okay, like if you can't see the like code, I can maximize the code text a little bit. I think it's fine now. Okay, so we're gonna take the value from this variable into this the payment ID variable. Okay, as output variable. Now let's copy this code again and paste it here, but this time we don't want connection because we have already the connection part code. Only here this SQL command where we need to pass the store procedure name. So we need here card CRUD and select. We need here find user ID also we need. Okay, store procedure also. After that, what we want to do is dr. We are going to use here data reader. cmd.execute reader. So while taking data from it, first of all it should read it. While reading, we can get data one by one. Okay, so in product ID we're gonna get the value. First of all, we need to cast into it integer format. dr product ID starting P is capital semicolon. Let's copy this. This time we want quantity. Sorry. Okay, now after that like we gonna use here another function that is for update. Okay, we have used here try, so we need to use here catch block as well. Finally, let's close the connection. Okay, so I have used here the SQL transition class as well. Like I have created a object and declared as a null. Okay, I have to use that as well here. Okay, basically like let me introduce like SQL transition. What is SQL transition? The basically like why we are using here the SQL transition. Like while doing the payment, what we're gonna do means we are gonna save data in database at least 2 or 3 times. Like we are gonna communicate with the database. Okay, the first time when we save the data in database for the payment related, like when it is of type card payment or like it is of type cash on delivery, that data we need to save in table. Okay, so that is the first time like when we communicate with the database. You can see here save payment, we are calling the store procedure and passing the data. After that, like saving that data, we are getting the ID of it, the payment ID we are getting as a here in this payment ID variable. Okay, now what we want some data from database, so we are calling this card store procedure, which is of type select in action, where based on the user ID it gonna fetch that record from the card. Means in this user card which data is present, it gonna take that. Okay, so from that what we want product ID and quantity, which product is present in the user card and what is its quantity. Like the first, like suppose user have 2 items in card, the first the product ID of that and how many quantity of that product were present, that data. Then it will gonna again go on a loop, then it will gonna get ID for the second one, the quantity. Okay, so after that, like for getting that data, after that we're gonna call here one function for updating some data. Okay, we'll see further. Okay, so what happens, suppose if it get failed here at this time for updation, so means like while saving that information of the user in that data, so we are performing two or three saving or performing update or insert whatever in our database, right? So all are related to only one action. Like when we click on the confirm payment, after that like it all happens at the behind. Okay, so that means if it fails any of these executions, okay, what it should do, it's gonna crash. Okay, it's gonna display errors to the user, and that we don't want. So for that for solution we can use SQL transition. What it will gonna do, suppose the first here this operation gets executed successful, and while the second one, while updation here, like which is not present at the moment, but suppose here the second one is for updating. Okay, and in this case in the updation gets failed, so it gonna roll back, means it gonna not save this record, means the saved record of this on the table, it gonna remove back to its original or normal place, like where the data was not saved. Okay, if all the transaction perform successfully, all the execution perform successfully, then only it gonna save the data in database in actual form. Otherwise it was saved as a temporary in table until unless all the execution performs successfully. If any of the execution gets failed, this temporarily saved data in table will gonna remove permanently. Okay, that means the data was never saved in table. For that purpose we are using the SQL transition. Okay, So I have not used right now. Let's use it here. Okay, so we have taken here connection string, but we didn't open that connection string. So first of all, let's open it. After that, after opening the connection string, we need to use the SQL transition. Transition is equals to con.begin transition. The transition begins from here. And one thing you need to note, like after opening the connection only we can use the begin transition, otherwise we're gonna face an error, like the connection string is not open, because in the connection only we are calling this method begin transition. Until unless the connection is not open, it will give us error. Got it? Okay, like we are using transition here. Let's okay, we'll do here later. We'll add here reason. What is reason? Like we can wrap some code in a container, we can say, like for that purpose, like we can use the reason in C#. Okay, which defines like whatever the code, which type of code, like we what the code does in this container, which type of code we have taken here. So we can define some data or text to it in that summary. Okay. Now what we want here one update function as well. So let's create that first. The first one, this function gets closed here. Okay. Now let's create a function for the update. Okay, for right now, like for the time being, like I'm just adding comment here, like what function we need here. The first we need here, that is the update one, update quantity. Like we need to update the quantity of the data in database, like when the user buy a single product. Okay, suppose he has ordered 2 items of that item, so we need to reduce the quantity of that product from database table, right? That means some of the user bought that item, so the stock of the actual that item in database should get decreased, right? That should get reduced. So we need to update the quantity of that item from the product table. So for that we are gonna create function, a method for that. Okay, and after that we need to delete the data from the cart also. So for that also we need to create another method, okay, in which we want to call the delete operation, delete action from the product correct store procedure. Okay, so for now timing, like let's I'm adding here the comment update product quantity. Okay, then delete cart item. Okay, now like as I said, we are using here the store SQL transition. Okay, here. So like while execution here in try, like suppose any error or transition gets execution get failed, so in catch block we need to handle that. So this time we're gonna handle it some little differently what we have did previously in all videos. Okay, so here transition dot rollback we use when any execution of query gets failed. Any single execution of query gets failed, we'll gonna roll back that transition. Okay, but sometimes in doing rollback of the transition we get error. So that means even this line of code we need to take inside the try catch block. So again we need to take here one try block. In that we're gonna call this roll back. After that, not here, sorry. After that try, we need to take a catch in catch exception, sorry. So in exception, we're gonna display whatever the error message is. Okay, response dot write so in JavaScript alert message we're gonna display this script, copy paste. Let's take JavaScript alert function. So in alert, we're gonna display the error message plus ex.message. Save it. So let's take here the reason. Okay, the reason, how we take the reason, let's see. After the connection, opening the connection, let's check here reason. For taking the reason, we need to use has type reason enter. Okay, so reason is typed here. Now we need to give the name like how we used for comment, right? So that's similar to this also, the reason. Okay, but it has some little different feature on that comment. Transaction SQL transition. Okay, so I now like the code, the reason gets started from here. We need to end also this region, so let's end it here after the catch block. Okay, means when the exception gets freeze, it's gonna handle, and after that it's gonna close here this region for the transition. So for that we have here and reason and the closing name what you want. For that we can use the same name. Let's copy this one, copy paste here. I know this video this especially this video it's gonna quite boring to you, I know, but this video is like, it's very important, and like the new thing like we're gonna use here in this, that is SQL transition. Okay, and within this single button click we are performing 3 to 4 database communication at a time. Okay, and like any communication get failed in between, so for that we do not face any error. That's why we are using SQL transition here. Okay, I hope you understand like what I am trying to tell. If you don't still like you are having any questions or didn't understand about the SQL transition, you can Google it and find a better solution or better explanation in Google. Okay, now what we want, okay, so we didn't close this data reader like after a while. We need to close this dr.close, otherwise we're gonna get error. What it will gonna do, like it will gonna fetch data from the cart table. Okay, and get the information about the cart of that specific user. Okay, so this code we need to wrap into a single unit. Okay, so let's take here region again, region, and let's give here the name for this region, getting cart items, getting cart item. It can be one or more cart items. Okay, let's copy this and paste after this, but instead of region we have to take here and region, save it. Now you can see here there is a symbol for, like, we can minimize it. It's get minimized, and the text that we have added can see here, getting cart items, and we can get preview of the code present in that container within that region. Okay, the same we can do for this here SQL transaction as well. The code get minimized, okay, but still we can get a preview of the code present within that region. Okay, so now we need to create a method here for update as well as for delete. Okay, so first we're gonna see for update. Okay, let's copy this, paste it here. This is for ending of this, copy, paste, end. Now within this we're gonna call our function update quantity. We're gonna create this in a moment. Okay, and of course it will gonna take some parameter as well. For now time being, like, let's comment it. Same for here, delete cart item. Let's comment it, save it. After that here, like when we perform the update and delete, we want to save the data of this payment, okay, in database. For that we take here dt.rows.add product ID quantity. No, we don't want this. Like, we want, but still before that can see here. Okay, let's first of all take here utils dot get unique ID. Okay, we don't have the function here get unique ID. We need to create one function. Okay, let's go to the util class here, which is present in connection class. Okay, in connection class we have the class that is, like, in connection page we have two classes, that is connection and the utils. So in utils we're gonna take here one function which is get unique. Get unique ID. So first of all we need to make it public because we want to access in many pages. Okay, so first of all we need to take it public, and of course we need to take it static, which will return the some string type of data. Get unique ID. So here basically we're going to use the C# class GUID. Okay, unique ID, with dot to string. Now we need to return this data. Sorry, unique ID. Okay, so what this function will do, it gonna create randomly generated combination of alphabet and some characters and as well as numbers. Okay, and it gonna store in this one, and we're gonna return that value as a string wherever we call this function. Okay, so utils dot get unique ID, comma product ID, then quantity, then user who is logged in, user ID, then status, that is pending, comma payment ID, convert dot to date time, dot now. Close the bracket. Okay, we can, I think, break the code from here. Okay, what it's saying, argument first cannot convert the method group to object. Okay, so it's a method. We need to, let's call it again, utils dot get unique ID. I have to pass the parameters parenthesis. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, now we need to call create the function, this one, update quantity. After this, we're going to create here function. Void function name, then parameters, int. I think this video gonna be long. Still, like, I have to complete this part in this video itself, because in next video we're gonna complete the invoice page from the user can download the invoice. Okay, and then in the next video we'll wanna display the whatever the order has been made by the user in the profile page, like also order history, like whatever the user has ordered till now, we need to display that as order history. So we're gonna cover in that next video. Okay, so what the second parameter is quantity. Third one, SQL transition. Fourth one, SQL connection. Okay, so now here let's take one integer variable db quantity quantity semicolon cmd. Okay, we need to copy the code from the above one here, this one, copy, paste it here. Okay, so this time we want here product, not the cart, product, and the action method get by id. And instead of this user id we want product id. And we have the variable here product id. Okay, we have product. I think, okay, we need to take here product id. It's not a product id. Let's make it same. So after that, for executing this store procedure, we're gonna take here the try catch block dr1. So this time also we are gonna use data reader, but we have already used data reader dr previous. Now we are using the dr1. Okay, while so now db quantity is equals to type integer. We need to parse it into integer that we are going to get from this data reader. Quantity quantity. Okay, we need to check the spelling here also. Quantity, okay, it's correct. Okay, after that, okay, we need to take here the catch and final block. Let's take here the catch for now. Exception exe. Okay, so after this one we need to check if db quantity is less than equals to the quantity that we gave here, quantity, and db quantity should be less than equal to 2. db quantity equals to quantity minus, okay, db quantity minus quantity. Okay, this same thing we can do we don't want this, yeah. Okay, so it will not do minus from this variable quantity. Okay, it's the same thing, or you can use what was the previous, which you suitable for you, like you can use that. Okay, then first of all, like here we are fetching data from database. Now we will gonna perform the actual update operation here. Okay, let's copy this code, paste it here. QTY quantity update. We want product ID, but as well with the product ID we want the quantity also, how much quantity we want to update for that. Copy, paste, we want DB quantity here. Then cmd dot execute non-query. After that, this while loop we need to close the data reader connection. And here in cache block we need to copy this and paste it here, and we can use exe. Okay, the main thing we forgot to use here, like when we are using this one SQL transaction, how we gonna know which transaction we want, like which communication, which execution we want included in SQL transaction. We need to tell it manually, like this one. In this we are providing the connection for which connection, like we need to call this store procedure. So for that also we need to tell that for this SQL transaction, under this SQL transaction we are calling this performing this communication with the database. So for that also we need to pass here transaction. Okay, so we have passed here. Wherever else we have used, we need to pass there else also. Here also we need to pass SQL transaction. Then here as well. Okay, so here we don't want the con. Okay, instead of that we want here SQL connection. Copy this, paste, and SQL transaction, paste. Okay, because the con and the transaction variable was inside this function, but in this function order payment, and we can't access that there. It will gonna give us error. Okay, so for that we have passed that inside this function as a parameter, SQL transaction as well as SQL connection. Okay, so we are using that same for here as a parameter in this SQL command. Okay, so here also we want this same, copy, paste. Okay, like this is for the update one. Let's go for the delete one. After this, let's create the delete void. Let's copy the function name. What is the name of this function? Delete cart item. Paste. we want here some parameters as well, like we did in update 1. So let's copy this parameter from here, copy, paste. We want product ID, we don't want quantity, let's remove it. We want SQL transaction and SQL connection, fine. Now let's copy this, paste, and within the try block we're gonna keep this code. Paste, then catch block. And you're gonna use this one, copy. If you don't want finally block here, let's remove. Okay, so now replace this. We don't want quantity here, only product ID. No, cart ID we want. Okay, let's replace the position. The first we want the product ID, okay, then the user ID we want here. For the user ID we have here one user ID, let's copy that, this one, copy, paste it here. And here the action name, delete, and here it's cart CRUD. Within the cart we want to delete that cart item, which is we can find it by product ID, and for which user, that is user ID. Okay, okay, so we have finished both the function, the update and delete. Now we need to use or call that here. Now we need to pass the parameters to it. So first of all, what it expect here to call, let's see. The first one can see here the product ID, the second quantity, then SQL transaction object, then this one SQL connection object. So first product ID, yeah, comma, then quantity is there, comma, SQL transaction, that is transaction, then SQL connection, con. Say we can give you a space as well. Okay, so we have called the update function here. Now we can call our delete function as well. So we want to pass the product ID, comma, the SQL transaction, that is transaction, comma, connection, space, save. Okay, now the main thing, okay, I think we have left some part here after this closing, after this closing of this, means like when we perform all these operations here, like the first it will gonna what it's going to do, first of all it will gonna save this transaction to the database. Okay, gonna execute and gonna get the payment ID value, and based on that it gonna insert the, like, update this one, the tables, the quantity, the product tables, okay, and then delete the cart items, and then it gonna what we can say, generate the order ID, okay, with this payment ID. Okay, so for this, like generating order ID and all, we need to create one table type in database, okay, and we need to create one store procedure for it. And then after that, like if it is performs all well, then we need to commit the transaction, like which can save all the data in database, otherwise it will gonna remove all that data. Okay, we gonna create here one region here. Let's give the name to it, order details. So within this region, we're gonna check if tt.rows.count is greater than 0. Where is like from where is this tt is coming? Here, pass the data to it, right? From there, like it will gonna come to know whether this data has been, like dt has have some columns or not. Okay, have some rows or not. Like if it has rows, that means we need to that pass that to database for the execution. We are first of all we are passing some values to these columns that we have added to this data table. Okay, like with in data table we have created the rows. In the above we can see here, in data table we have created the columns. Okay, all these 7 columns. So in that all that columns we are passing the data, okay, which is a single row. One single row we are passing multiple column data to it. Okay, and now we want to check whether if we pass some data to it, then we need to execute that data which is present in data table. Okay, cmd dot execute non-query. Okay, first of all, like before the execution we need to pass the this one so here we need to call here save orders. I think we, okay, here we have save payment. Okay, we need to create one more store procedure with the name save orders. So we want con transaction, we don't want this action. So here what we want, tbl orders, and here we need to pass dt object. So all the values that is coming like in this row which contains data of multiple columns, we are passing at once here as a parameters. So for taking all the columns data at once, we need to create a table type for that, then only it gonna accept that data at once. Okay, so now after this, when it execute, then we need to perform here transaction dot commit, which will make sure all the data whatever like update, insert, delete is performed, it gonna commit that execution. Okay, so now lbl message dot visible is equals to true. Now we want, if it is success, we want to redirect this page to the, or the user to the invoice page. Okay, response dot, but we want this should be a take automatically, like it will gonna refresh the page after some few seconds. It will take to the invoice page. Okay, add address or header, I think header, header, add header. Within that we need to pass refresh. Okay, then one, after 1 second it's gonna refresh the page and take us to the invoice page. Comma, sorry, semicolon, URL is equals to the page name, that is invoice.aspx, and we need to pass the ID, like this one, invoice ID, the payment ID, for which payment, like we are going to download this invoice and all. Okay, semicolon. Okay, so the code part is now completed here, but like while execution it gave us error because we don't have 2 stored procedures and 1 table type. Let's see from here the start. Okay, we didn't call that function order payment here in this button click event. Let's call it order payment. What was the name? Order payment, yeah. Order payment. So what is the function parameter? First one parameter, let's take the name, then card number, then expiry date, let's give space, CVV, address, payment mode. Okay, so we have called that in that. Now we want to call here as well, so let's copy this and paste it here. That's it. Okay, so here, like in this function, we are created 1 columns. Okay, not 1 column, we have created we have created columns, that is 7 columns. Okay, and first of all we have given the columns name. Okay, these columns don't have any data, we are passing data to these columns. At the end here, this line pass the data to the columns. Okay, so after creating the columns in data table, so we have saving payment in this stored procedure, say payment. We don't have this stored procedure, we want to create it, this one stored procedure. Then we have this one. Okay, so we are finding the data from the this stored procedure and getting some value, that is product ID, quantity, and based with the help of this value we are passing to this function, that is update quantity as well as in delete cart item. So in both function it is useful, this value. Okay, so while updating is like taking both the product ID and the quantity. So based on that, it's gonna update the data from the database, and based on that, it's gonna delete the items from the cart also. Okay. Then after that, like it will wanna insert data to these data table columns one by one, and then if it has any data, it will gonna save the data to this stored procedure. So this is second stored procedure we need to create, and it will gonna add this all data at once as a parameter here. So for that, we need to create one table type in database. So we need to create three things in database right now. The first two thing is stored procedure, and the other one is table type. Okay, now let's go switch to the database. Okay, so we have this our table, our database for DB. In that we have 4 stored procedure: card CRUD, category CRUD, product CRUD, user CRUD. Okay, now we need to create 2 stored procedure. Okay. This time I'm going to copy and paste the stored procedure, like for saving time, like the same thing which I am going to type, like which I am going to paste, the same thing, but definitely I'm going to explain the query. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, I am pasting here query, that is the type. We are creating the type like how we create the table, create table, the same for this type, create type, the type name, and is of type as table type. Okay, so we have given here the parameter, the columns name, like order number, product ID, quantity, user ID, status, payment ID, and order date. And we have taken also the column data type, like of varchar max, order number, the product ID integer, quantity integer, user ID integer, status varchar 50, payment ID integer, and order date as date time. Like if you notice this, we have already created the columns in code, like in our project code. Okay, let's see. So here, like if you notice, we have here order number, same order number, product ID, quantity, then user ID status, payment ID, order date, the same, like we have passed the data type also, string, integer, date, time. Okay, that only we want the data from there as a bulk data, and then we can, with this help of this, we can insert data all at once. Okay, so let's create this type, select, and make sure your database has been selected here. Okay, let's execute. Now our type has been created here. Okay, after that, what we want the stored procedure, right? Let's paste it here. So here, after a type, like we are going to create a stored procedure. The first one is, that is save orders. Okay, which take the parameters as order details, the name of the type that we have taken, that is order details, that type we are passing here. Okay, and it's of read only, and I've given here that as a parameter name, and the same name we are using in our code also. You can see here, while passing data to it, this stored procedure, we are using the same parameter. This is a stored procedure name, and this is a parameter we are going to pass. Okay, and in that, like we are going to insert into orders table. We have already orders table, right? And that order number, this product ID, quantity, and this order number is going to generate from that function that we have called get unique ID, right? From there it will gonna generate the order number and gonna save here in this column order number. Okay, then all the columns that we are passed there, we have first call that column name, and then like that if we have passed that in the insert query, then we are getting that data from that inserted one. Okay, from here. Okay, let's create this stored procedure. Execute. It's created. Now there is another second stored procedure, that is the save payment. Okay, so it has some parameters: name, card number, expiry date, CVV, address, payment mode, inserted ID. Okay, so whatever this column we are passing will pass. Okay, it's gonna save. Okay, and while saving, it's gonna create a ID of it, right? So that will gonna pass it to this variable as a output. Okay, in stored procedure, if we create any output parameter, for that, like there is a keyword output. Okay, and it is of type integer. And in payment mode, like if it is like if there is no values passed, by default it gonna take as card payment, but we are passing to it. Okay, so no problem. So like here in begin, like we have taken the insert with the column name, we have passed the parameter name, and the parameter name we are getting the value. Okay, and after the insertion, we want the ID of that this payment table, right? Payment ID we want. So from this method scope identity, we can get that recently inserted ID of it. Okay, so we are passing to it this variable, this parameter name, and we are which will gonna throw as a output value when we call this stored procedure. Okay, so let's execute this stored procedure as well. Select it, execute. Okay, it's created. Let's close this. Okay, now I think everything is now done. Let's add a breakpoint here. The page load, not on page load, here on the button click on both. We're gonna check for both, like the card payment and for the cash on delivery. Okay, let's run and see. Let's log in, say user. Okay, so this user has 2 items in cart. Okay, the first item is of 2 quantity and the second one is of 1 quantity. Okay, let's go for checkout. So okay, we don't get the order total value here. We want to check that. And in cash on delivery, okay, the design part is properly, like it's perfect, and here only like we need to pass that value. I think the session name, we didn't call that. Okay, let's close this, and we are gonna create the invoice page now itself. Here, invoice, copy. Let's create page, add perform with master page, invoice. Okay, select the master page. Okay, let's give here title, invoice, save. That's it. And here for that in design of the payment page, we have taken here the stored procedure, when total price, and we are didn't getting any value to it. It's empty. So I think spelling mistake is there. Brand. Let's see in this payment page as well, where we have used that session. I don't think so. We have used. We didn't use that. I think that session we have created in previous video, that is in card page. Go to card page. Card count, yeah, the spelling mistake was there, so I just copy this to session name and go to the design page here and paste it here. Save. Now let's run and see. Login. Go to cart, checkout. Now you can see the payment is 700. If you go back here, you can see grand total is 700. Okay, and we switch here, you can see the same amount here for both. So first we're gonna try for this credit card payment. Okay, and like if we didn't enter any data to it, let's okay, you can see here the validation is active here. Click on confirm payment. You can see here this validation summary also we have taken here, which is going to display all the fields required error message here. The name is required, card number is required, expiry month is required, expiry year is also required, CVV number is required, address is required. Let's fill one by one the card owner name. Okay, then you can see here the asterisk is gonna remove one by one when we put the proper data to it. Okay, so let's add expiry this card number, which is of 16 digit. If it is of less than 16, you can see it's gonna highlight this as a asterisk. Okay, again it's less, now it's gonna be all right. Now it's 16 digit. If it is suppose one digit it's like extra, like 17, again it will gonna give us error. Okay, it wants only 16 digits. Now for the month it take 2 digits. Okay, let's suppose I'm taking for the Feb, let's say 2. It give us error because we like it takes two digits, so we need to pass 02, that is February. Now this one single error is gone. The single error is now less for year. So for the year, like we want 2022, so we give 2022, still error is left, so it should be 2022 in 4 digit. Now it's perfect. Okay, for CVV it should be 3 digit. Okay, and now address is left. Now click on confirm payment. We have added breakpoint here. Press F10 to move forward. Can see here we get the name, the user, the card number. Then after formatting the card, what we get here, can see here the starting 12 characters or digit, can see is marked by asterisk, and the left 4 digit is like same. Okay, now the same like not same but in a different manner, like we did for expiry date also, we have combined the both field, like expiry month and the expiry year in a single date. Okay, then CVV, then address, and payment mode is here, it's card right now. The user is login, so it will gonna come inside this if block. Now here we go call this order payment. If you want to go inside this method and debug, press F11, not F10. F11 we need to press, so it comes inside this function. Now press F10. Can see here the parameter value we can get here, which were passed from there on button click event. Okay, so now here it's created the columns. Okay, if you go here, can see here count 7 columns is created here. Can see here list also, order number, product ID, whatever the columns we have passed here, the column has been created. Okay, now the condition gets open, transaction begin. Now it gonna execute this one, and we will get here the payment ID that we have saved, that is 1. The payment table was empty, right? So the first insertion is of ID 1. Okay, we got the payment ID. Now what we want, we need to get some data. of that user. The user have item in cart, right? Based on that we need to find the product ID of that item and how much quantity of that item were present. Okay, the first item was of 2 quantity, right? Let's see. The ID of it is 2 and the quantity is 2, right? The first item present in cart, that is of, it has 2 quantity in cart, right? So we have here quantity 2. Now let's go to this inside this function, press F11. 2 quantity is 2, product ID is 2 and quantity also is 2, and SQL transaction we have object of that and as well as for the SQL connection. Okay, so which we have passed here. After execution, let's see what quantity we have in database. In database, the same, the product of 2, product ID of 2, we have 5 quantity in database, and the user has in his cart that is 2, okay, which is less than the database, right? Which we compare here, so it is true, and that is also less than 2, so this is also true. Both the condition is true. We have taken here AND. If the both condition true for the AND, then it is true. So it will gonna come inside this if block. Now it's gonna minus this. You can see here 5 minus 2 is 3. Now we want to update this quantity in database of the product table. Okay, for this ID 2. So it's get updated in database. Now it's gonna close this one. Okay, so this update is performed. Now let's go for the delete. Press F11. So what we want to delete? We want to delete 2, product ID 2, which is present in cart table. Okay, so we are calling the cart CRUD delete action. Okay, so we have passed the product, for which product we want to delete and for which user. Okay, that's the important part here. Okay, now it's gonna delete that. Okay, the deletion is got successfully, means all till now we have performed successfully communication with the database. Now only the last part is left. So you can see here in this okay, here in view you can see all the columns we have data. We have the order ID which is generated by that function. Okay, get unique ID, then product ID, quantity, user ID, status pending, payment ID is 1, and order date and time. Okay, now this, okay, now let's go back again, because in card we have 2 quantity. The same we're gonna add in this one. Okay, this data table gonna hold multiple items at once. So in card, how many items were present, it can be hold here in data tables, and then it will gonna insert all at once here. Okay, so now let's go inside this function for updating purpose. Okay, so what we have here 19, that means greater. Done. Now let's for delete F11. Deletion part is done. Now here we have another rows here. Okay, the first one is product ID 2, the third one is product ID 3, the quantity is 1. Okay, now it gonna comes out of this and close the, and now here it will check the count is 2. Yeah, it is greater than 0. Now it's gonna call the store procedure, that is save orders, and gonna pass all the data at once so that it can save or insert in database and tables at once. Let's check. Okay, it's worked. Now it's gonna commit. I'm gonna display the message to us, and then it will gonna redirect to the payment page after that. Now let's press okay, I'm gonna close the connection, press continue. You can see here your item order successful, and we take us to the invoice page, means our payment is now successful. We need to check the cash on delivery option also. The same thing, just gonna insert the data in orders payment table for the cash on delivery. That's it. Rest of the item is same. Now can see the cart item also is become 0 because we want to delete the cart items when the user user purchase that items. Okay, so let's go to this cart. You can see now it's empty. Let's add one more item to it. Yeah, now buy. This time we'll use here cash on delivery option. Okay, confirm order. Payment ID is 3. Okay, 2. Okay, the first one that in the first payment, in that first payment we have 2 items. Okay, in the second payment we have 1 items. The product quantity is updated in database and the cart items get deleted. Now here we can see in data table we have 1 items which order number has been generated for that. Now this data we have to save inside this our table. Order has been saved and click on continue. You can see order item is successfully ordered, and now it take us to the invoice page here. Okay, so now our payment is done successfully. Now in next video we're gonna display the invoice page data and where user can download the invoice in PDF format. Okay, so I hope you like this video, and now I know like this video is like quite lengthy and a bit confusing maybe. So guys, thank you for watching this video. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye, take care, thank you for watching.